Like,
okay, right there, that's it.
Is it enough?
Is that light gonna stay on top?
We're going to start off with a story of a young princess
Let it stay right there. Yeah, let it
who
stay.
loved to go out into the woods, and she would always go and play by herself. But she would play with her very, very special ball. And since she was a princess, this ball was no ordinary ball. This ball was golden. So the princess went off into the woods with her golden ball. And she was throwing it up and down and running through the woods and just having a really fun time. And she came upon a well. And she sat next to this well. And she was playing with her ball. And she was throwing it up and down and catching it, and throwing it back up and catching it. And she was just really having a fun time. Then all of a sudden, she threw that ball so high up in the air.
Yeah, so she can see.
She threw that ball so high up in the air, it rolled away. She didn't catch it, and it ended up that she forgot all about the promises she had made to the little ball. So she ran back home as fast as she could, and she was so happy because she got her ball back. Well, don't you know that the very next night, she heard tap, 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 splash, splash, splash. And it was that ugly old frog knocking at her door. And when she answered the door, and she saw that it was that ugly old frog, she got very scared. And she closed that door as fast as she could, and she ran back into her house, sat down at the table and continued to eat. Well, her daddy could tell that something got her very upset. So her daddy said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Well, I was down at the well and I lost my ball and this frog got it for me. And I promised him that I'd let him eat my food and drink in my bed, sleep in my bed, but I never thought he'd really get my ball, Dad." And he said, "Well, now, child, if you made that promise, you need to keep your promises because that's what a princess does." So she went and she let that frog in, and that frog ate her food. And the frog slept in her bed, and the next morning when she woke up, the frog was gone. So she thought, "Oh, well, maybe he's just going to eat one meal and sleep a little while, and then it's going to be all over with." Well, don't you know, the very next night when she was having supper again, that frog came back. So she let the frog eat off her plate, and she let the frog sleep in her bed, and the next morning when she woke up, the frog was gone again. The third night, right at dinner time, the frog came, knock, 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 splash, 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 and the princess let him in, and he ate from her plate, and he slept in her bed. And she thought, "Oh, I hope this is the last night he's going to do this." Well, it was, but not for the reason you think. It just so happened that a fairy had put a spell on a young prince and had turned him into a frog. And because the princess let him eat from her plate and sleep in her bed, after 3 nights he turned into a prince. And they moved out to that prince's kingdom, and they lived happily ever after. Can you do this for me? Do this. Okay, do this. And this is what that frog looked like when he kissed the princess.
Alright.
Like it? Alright. High five, dude. Alright. Thank you.
Alright, CJ.
Alright. Okay, that was the story of the frog prince. And let me get maybe a little bit older